Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad you decided to tune in on a mixed emotion Sunday night. Hey, mad as hell when you watch the end of that game. I mean, the Dodgers get 13 walks. 13 walks given to them. They had the entire eighth inning gift wrapped to them. Could only score one run, could only tie the game, and gave up 3 home runs late to a team. Yes, the Toronto Blue Jays, they lead the major leagues in overall total hits, but they're not necessarily a home run hitting team, and they're not a running team either. And the Dodgers had Toronto outmatched as far as the Dodgers pitching and the Toronto hitting all weekend. It just looked like, for all intents and purposes, this game was just going to go away and the Dodgers were going to win. But, man, whenever you don't score, you score what the Dodgers score in the second and the third inning, and then you don't score again until the eighth inning, you have that big gap. What you do is you leave a team around, and when you leave a team around, we see, like I know that the broadcast kept mentioning Steven and Rick did the last game of the St. Louis series where you felt like you're in control of it, you felt like everything was okay, but you didn't create enough distance, and then St. Louis came back, and a couple hits later, you're in trouble. And that's exactly what happened today. Toronto is a good team. I was not overall totally impressed with them. There wasn't a team that I was like, wow, I don't want the Dodgers to face them in the World Series. I didn't see anything that the Blue Jays can do that can beat the Dodgers if they hit on all cylinders. But even with the great game last night and then the good game on Friday night to get things started, the Dodgers still, no doubt, they're not hitting on all cylinders. First of all, they haven't had all cylinders. It's amazing that they do now, and it's amazing that Max Muncy is back and hitting the ball like he never went away. But having said that, I think it's safe to say still the Dodgers are not hitting on all cylinders offensively, and I know people are calling for Ryan Ward instead of Justin Dean. That's perfectly fine. I have no problems with that because you think offensive-minded as far as the Dodgers and the moves they should make. So here's what I have to say to that, and here's one thing that Andrew Friedman is the best, but one thing I really like that he has said as of late. He point blank came out and said, we have enough offense. This offense has enough pieces to it that it should be performing much better than it is right now. So you know what that does? That creates accountability. Like, hey, boys, I've done my job. Now it's time to do yours. No excuses. You have enough talent on your roster no matter what. This should not be this bad. So what he basically did was he said, I'm getting ready to hold everybody here accountable. I'm getting ready to figure out if this doesn't get fixed, what went wrong here, and people are going to have to answer for it. That is called leadership, okay? First of all, at the trade deadline, he showed support, like, hey, we have enough. We got Max Muncy coming back. We have 3 Hall of Famers at the top. We've got the best hitting catcher this side of Cal Raleigh in all the major leagues. We've got Teo Hernandez, who should be a really, really, really nice player. We've got guys at the bottom of the line. We just added Alex Cole, who brought a little bit more bat to ball, a little bit more winning baseball to it. Guys, we've given you every tool. Andrew Friedman laid down the law. You've been given every tool. It's on you. Go out and do it. You have it. And they did it for 2 games this weekend. Did not do it for about 5 or 6 innings in the middle of this game, and just could not get that big hit to get over the top. Left the bases. Now, did score that 1 run on the walk when Freddie Freeman walked there, wasn't that in the 3rd inning or whatever, but left the bases loaded twice and did not break the game open. Gotta add on. Got to keep breaking the game open and just keep going. And again, I think also, not necessarily the Johan Duran, but just another very, 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 very reliable bullpen arm. I think that aspect of not getting one of those at the trade deadline, I think that reared its ugly head again today too, because I love Blake Trinan. He is a forever dog. He is a forever legend for Dodgers Daily. First of all, he spent about 15 minutes just talking to me about South Dakota State and all the things that he had to go through, the bus rides that he took in the Summit League while he's playing college basketball. I mean, we had a hell of a great conversation. We probably talked 5 minutes after the interview I got to do with him. So for number one, Blake Trinan is in the Dodgers Daily Hall of Fame for that very reason, just alone, because he's just an incredible dude. But beyond that, I mean, my God, he's been just absolutely awesome. And I mean, total nails for the Dodgers since he's been in the Dodger blue. But having said that, it's the if game again. If. You can't rely on a guy like Blake Trinan, as good as he is, to just snap back into the exact same shape that we saw him at the end of last year, or whatever it may be. So what happens to a guy like that? And by the way, I left the link to the show right here in the chat. So come join. I want to hear your thoughts. I want this to be all about what you guys think as far as the game goes today and all of your thoughts. Let's make this chat driven. We don't have enough people in the lobby right now. There's probably other shows going on as we speak, but hey, get on the phone, get on your social media, get on your text messages, get on Snapchat, whatever it is you do. Let's get more people into the lobby. There is not enough people here. And let's have a chat-driven show tonight. And let's kind of get all of our venom out as far as what we saw tonight for the Dodgers. So there is no way that any player, there is no way that any manager or front office member can think that today's loss is acceptable. You were given 13 walks. You were giving 10 hits, and you lost the game at home, a game that you had the lead in. That's the first time since 1982 that the Dodgers have lost a game in which they have had 10 hits and 10 walks in the same game. 1982. It was funny on the radio side. Rick Monday said, yep, I was a part of that one too. It was a light moment there. But by the way, Steven Nelson did a great job of kind of setting the scene of frustration and how unacceptable just the way things went down, but yet not going nuclear. So he kind of allowed me as a fan to be pissed and frustrated and all that, but then to kind of snap back into perspective. And here's the perspective. At the beginning of this weekend, coming into the Toronto series, if I would have told you that the Dodgers were going to win 2 out of 3, and they were going to come out of this not having given up any games to the Padres. Okay, Padres had the Red Sox at home. I think everybody probably, I don't know that everybody would have been like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. I think, we're the Dodgers. We expect the Dodgers to win every stinking game, especially when you win the first 2. But just going into the weekend, I think everybody would have been at least accepting. I'm not going to say full-blown happy, but at least accepting of a series where the Dodgers won 2 out of 3. So don't go nuclear in terms of those perspectives. It just gives it a really, really, really bad vibe the way that it ended. So it was overall, to be honest with you, a bad end to a good weekend. That's the way, as I sit back a couple of hours later, as I've already just cussed and discussed and thrown all of my frustration out there and kind of gotten over the initial frustration and anger, if you will, about how the Dodgers lost this game in an unacceptable way. As I sit back now, you kind of look at it and you go, well, okay, it actually was a pretty good weekend, winning 2 out of 3. Again, get on the text message, get on social media. Let's get a bigger crowd in here. We have a good crowd logging in on TikTok. Kristen Toomey, user 7509, RJMM14. Dean Kaiser, thank you so much for joining. Hey, if you're on the TikTok side, I'm going to type this in. Make sure and leave a comment. If you do not leave a comment on the TikTok side, then it will kick off because there was a lack of activity. So make sure, even if it's a hi or hey, I joined or whatever it is, if you're on the TikTok side, please make and leave a comment. If you are on either side, either the YouTube side or the TikTok side, here is the link right there. I just posted the link again. Dial in, come join the show, and let's talk to you. And let's make this all about you and what you think about the Dodgers overall and what you think about the weekend for Los Angeles. So again, not an acceptable way to lose the game today. but overall a good weekend. And here's another thing, at least my perspective, and you can disagree. And if you disagree, go ahead and put that in the chat, okay? If you take care of the Padres, of course, you have the Angels. You got to take care of them. And the Angels did sweep the Dodgers the last time that they played, all 3 games. So the Angels, no doubt, they have full-blown attention of the Dodgers, 100%. Hey, Chris Evans, thank you so much for joining. Hey, if you want to join in, Chris, I have left the link in the chat there. So go ahead and click that link, and let's talk some Dodgers baseball or whatever the hell you want to talk about. So if you take care of business against the Angels, of which you did not do last time, okay? The Angels came in and kicked the Dodgers' ass. It was depressing. It was disappointing. It was frustrating. It was maddening. It was all of those things as a fan, all those gambit of emotions that you feel. So you've got to get the attention turned immediately to the Freeway Series with the Angels, because we saw if you don't play well, they can kick your ass in all 3 games. That's rule number 1. That's step number 1. But if you do that, which if the Dodgers play good, they will win all 3 games of this series. I'm going to say that again. I don't mean that to sound cocky. I don't mean that to sound arrogant. I take it however you want as an Angels fan. I don't give a rat's ass, okay? Quoting the Hall of Fame head coach John Chappell for that one there. I don't care how Angels fans think about that. That team stinks. Their ownership stinks. The Dodgers should kick their ass every time they play them. And if the Dodgers play good, they will win all 3 games, period. End of discussion, okay? That's how this thing should go, all right? And then that sets up at that point, if the Padres can hold serve, you're going to have a 2 or 3, maybe a 4-game lead against San Diego. So here's what it comes down to. Regardless of what happened today, if you take care of San Diego, if you let them piss down their leg, if you will, for a lack of a better phrase to come up with, like they have in the past, if you let them go out there and just let the Dodgers just rent space in their brains like they do, like Ela Shiva correctly said the other night, how the Dodgers rent space in the Padres' minds, they do. Here is how I'm going to put this, and I'm going to put it into terms with the Ohtani at bat today too. So when I was in college, we used to go up at midnight to the campus of Oklahoma State University, and we'd play tennis on their tennis courts. Me and Jason Turk and Matt Schaefer and a whole bunch of the Stillwater High School guys when I was a senior in high school. And we would play tennis, and we just kind of lob the ball around this and that, and we enjoyed it. And there would be all sorts of different types of people. And around midnight on a college campus on a tennis court, it gets really competitive. So we'd have these guys, some of them international, a lot of them from Asia, and they would see us lobbing it over there, and then they would say, hey, do you guys want to play? And we'd say, sure. So we'd hit the ball around, we'd lob it back to them. And then after about 5 minutes, they'd say, hey, do you want to play a set for $20? And we were like, absolutely. Okay. So what we would do, and we would win every single time, not every time, but almost every single time. Literally all we would do is lob the ball back. When they hit the ball, all we concentrated on was just get the ball back to the other side of the tennis court and make sure it's in bounds. That was the only thing we worried about. And what we did is we let these other guys that actually thought they were really, really freaking good just beat the ball in the net all night long and let them beat themselves. Okay? That is exactly what the Dodgers should have done today. Okay? So that brings us into the Michael Conforto talk. But before we get into that, that's what the Dodgers need to do to the Padres. Throw the ball back over the net, hit the ball back over the net. Don't go for the kill shot every single time that you have a chance, because you might be the one making the unforced mistakes, like we saw Shohei Ohtani do tonight. He swung at ball 4 and ball 5, okay? Like we saw Dave Roberts do today. You guys know that I think Dave Roberts is the best manager in baseball. He is going to be a Hall of Fame manager, whether you like that or not. And if you don't believe me, just compare his statistics as a manager to every manager in the Hall of Fame. They are identical, okay? And here's another thing you're going to say, well, he's had the greatest talent in baseball. Well, so did so did Joe Torre, okay? So did Billy Martin, okay? So did Casey Stengel. I mean, Casey Stengel, he won the most amount of games in 1968 with the Yankees, and then the next year with the Mets, he lost the most amount, or whatever year it was. Don't quote me on the year. So don't go to the, well, Dave Roberts has had more talent, because all the managers in the Hall of Fame have had more talent in their era than the competition they were facing. So I say that to say massive blunder. Again, I'm not trying to throw Dave Roberts under the bus because he's a Hall of Fame manager. He's my manager. I love Dave. I will go to bat for Dave every day and twice on Sundays. No doubt about it. Massive blunder. You can call this too high schoolish. You can call it too amateurish. You can call it too simple. Call it whatever the hell you want. Massive blunder. Okay? We had a pitcher today, Jeff Hoffman, who was giving the game away to the Dodgers. He threw 10 pitches. He threw 5 strikes. Okay? Hit the ball back. Keep it in bounds. Let the other team lose. Let the other team make unforced errors. Don't go for the kill shot when the other team is making all the errors. So you have a 3-1 count on Michael Conforto, who, by the way, I'm not going to listen to the DFA stuff at the moment, any of that. Michael Conforto has been one of the better offensive players in the last month or so. He has earned his playing time, at least at this point of the season, because nobody else has been hitting the ball. But having said that, Michael Conforto's not the guy that has built the trust that you let swing on 3-1 with the bases loaded and the game tied with a pitcher that is pissing down his leg. He's not the guy that you give the green light to. He hasn't earned that. He hasn't earned that ever in his career. Now, if you want to tell me on a 3-1 count when you have Jeff Hoffman on the mound, who is just absolutely giving the game away to the Dodgers, and it's a 3-1 count with the bases loaded. If you walk, you take the lead. You probably win the game. If you want to tell me you're going to let Shohei Ohtani swing, okay. Shohei Ohtani's the best player since Babe Ruth. Even if you want to tell me that you're going to let Mookie Betts swing, although Mookie Betts has not been a good offensive player this year. At least he hasn't been a great offensive player. He has not been a good offensive player to his standards. Okay, it's Mookie Betts. I got no problem with that. Well, I put my head down on a pillow at night, and I live and die with my dudes, okay? And sometimes you die. I got no problem with that. If you want to tell me that Will Smith or Max Muncy or Freddie Freeman or even Teo Hernandez is going to swing on 3-1, okay, those are my dudes. Not Michael Conforto. And again, I don't mean to be throwing Michael Conforto under the bus because he has been one of the better offensive players for the Dodgers. And a matter of fact, the Dodgers probably would be behind the Padres right now if not for Michael Conforto. So I don't want to throw him under the bus. But if he's watching this, here's the standard. If his mother is watching this, okay, and that's because, every one of these major leaguers, they are somebody's baby. You got to remember that, okay? So the standard is, when I talk about these guys, if their mother is watching, would it be acceptable to her? That's my standard, okay? So if she's watching this show, I don't mean that to say that your son sucks. I don't mean that to say that your son isn't this or that or this or that. What I am telling you, though, is that with the Dodgers, this is a high-stakes business. He's making $17 million on a 1-year contract. It's a rental. He has not done enough to earn the trust of Dave Roberts or me or any other Dodgers fan to get to swing on 3-1 with the game on the line when all you got to do is for the pitcher who hasn't thrown strikes to throw one more ball and you probably win the game. He has not earned that. That squarely, 1,000%, completely, totally, and entirely is on Dave Roberts. Okay? Call me high school, call me amateur, call me whatever. What I'm going to respond with is call me right. You make Hoffman, see, whenever you take on 3-1 in that situation, again, if it's one of your dudes, I have no problem if you swing. But when you take on 3-1, you're not making him throw 1 strike. What you're actually making him do is throw 2 strikes. Now, let me ask you this, okay? How many times today do you remember Hoffman throwing 2 strikes in a row? I mean, he walked it. So the Blue Jays took the lead with the home run in the top of the 8th inning. And then he came out, and then they came out in the bottom of the 8th inning. This one wasn't Hoffman, but they came out in the bottom of the 8th inning and walked a rookie, Alex Freeland. I mean, that's how much they were struggling. So I wanted to make sure and get to that. And it's part of just the strategy. I will say John Snyder, Coach Eddie Daves, who was the Guthrie High School's only first-round draft pick ever. He was the first-round draft pick in 1972 of the St. Louis Cardinals. And if you haven't heard of him, it's because you have heard of Ted Simmons. He was the number 2 catcher in the Dodgers system for about 8 years behind Ted Simmons. But similar to Dalton Rushing, Ted Simmons was the Will Smith. Eddie Daves was the Dalton Rushing. Okay? But back then, like nowadays, you have maintenance days, that kind of thing to keep people fresh. No, not back then. Ted Simmons catches every day. And so Dalton Rushing in 1975, Dalton Rushing would be in AAA. He wouldn't be at the major league level because there are no such things as maintenance days. That's maintenance days. That's what happened to Eddie Daves. So Eddie Daves taught me this, and it's absolutely spot on. You play for the win on the road, and you play for the tie at home. So if you looked at the strategy from Dave and then also John Snyder at the end of the game, okay, John Snyder walked Shohei Ohtani with the base open, and we have a guest on the line here. Let me get to this thought here. I'm going to get the guest logged in here. Chuck Huddleston is getting ready to join the show. Chuck, how you doing? Give me just a second here. Let me finish my thought, and we will get to Chuck Huddleston here in just a minute. So you go for the win on the road, the tie at home. So the Blue Jays, they walked Shohei Ohtani in the 8th inning, put the winning run on base. Okay, that's going for the win. And then in the 9th inning, they brought their infield in with just 1 out. We'll get into what that does to the hitter whenever you do that here in just a minute. But as of right now, we have my good buddy Chuck Huddleston. Chuck, how in the heck are you tonight, my man?
Struggling with this game that should have been won today. Dave just keeps doing the same thing. He's got to get in that bullpen. He can't wait. Glasgow was pissed in the dugout. You could tell when he took him out, wasn't the right move. Hey, you're at that stage of the year with the bullpen the way it is that you got to lengthen your starters now, not go to your pin. You got to stay out of that pin until you got. And Trinan hasn't. I love Trinan, but he has not performed. I mean, and Vezina left one there that he shouldn't have. I mean, he wasn't right. My thing is always, if you have a starter that's really, really doing well, why do you want to go to 4 or 5 arms that one might be off or 2 might be off? Why do you want to take that chance? I just don't get. And the other thing is Shohei is not a clutch hitter. When he is batting in the clutch situation, he goes fishing. His
sure did today.
Strike zone disappears. He has no discipline for the strike zone. That's my 2 takeaways.
Well, here's the thing. Here's okay, and you know that I defend Dave to the nth degree. You know that if you watch the show. So this isn't, again, I'm going to say this isn't throwing Dave under the bus. This isn't any of that. This is, hey, we disagree with this decision, that decision. That's the essence of baseball. Hell, with all the coaches that I've coached with over the years, very rarely do we actually agree. So that's not throwing somebody under the bus. That's just having an opinion and being around the game and expressing your opinion. So here's the deal, okay? The Dodger starters forever couldn't go more than 5 innings. The bullpen has been taxed to no end. So now you finally have a good start going. So here is the dilemma that you're in, Chuck, okay? Tyler Glasnow is injury prone for his entire career. He was injured for a big part of this year. He was injured for all of the end of last year. He didn't have him in the playoffs. And so here's, as a manager, I'm going to tell you, I've been in this spot. As a manager, you're going, well, the last thing I can do is afford to stretch Tyler Glasnow 1 more inning and then lose him for the playoffs because he's been made out of glass to this point. But yet I look at my eyes, and I probably should, because the bullpen has been overtaxed. So do you kind of see that conflict there?
Well, I've seen Glasnow, I think, was around 82 or 83.
Yes.
And I was thinking, I know he has another batter, and I'm thinking he actually comes out in the 7th and gets a batter or 2. I thought that, because he looked, that he had that little dinker in the right field. That ball wasn't hit hard. That was just like a, Here's a little hit.
Right.
It wasn't like, wow, he smoked that ball. Let's take him out.
Right. Yeah. So I think if it's a playoff game, I think he probably throws 2 or 3 more innings. But kind of my point is, I think Dave is just scared to death, and you got to give him a little bit of leeway on this. With all the pitching injuries that the Dodgers have had here in the last 3 or 4 years, if you're the manager, I mean, every situation like that would have to scare you to death because, like, everything that could go wrong seems like it does on the injury front.
And most of his arms right now, the freshest arms, except for our number 1 starter. I mean, they're the starters. The starters have the freshest arms right now.
Great point.
He should be he should be using another extra inning, an out or 2 more from the starters right now. And they're getting stretched out. I mean, I'm excited about the starters. I think we're in good shape with the starters going forward if Dave can let them do their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I'm pushing back a little bit so we can cover, you know how I like to do these kind of things, to have great conversations so we can cover every aspect of it. So it's not one side. The best argument is whenever you get to see both sides of it, right? So I like to cover both sides. And having said that, listening to you, reading the chat, all these kind of things, I totally agree with you. I think at this point, I mean, you got to take the gloves off. You got to say to hell with it. If somebody gets injured, they get injured. We've seen that that trying to limit innings hasn't actually worked in the past anyways. So I totally agree with you that the best route, especially because you didn't get an extra arm at the trade deadline, the best route is to ride your starters as long as you can, as long as they're getting outs and they don't look like they're straining.
And I hated in the game with Conforto. In my mind, I thought, we have a 19% chance to. In fact, when you're in a clutch situation, you have less than a 19% chance when they're under pressure.
Yeah.
He's hitting 190 something, and so 19%. He's probably got about a 10% chance that he actually comes through in that spot. And I like him, nice guy, but he's not hitting.
Yeah, no doubt. And my biggest point with Conforto in that situation, when you have another team that is not throwing strikes, we do this in high school all the time. Call it high school, call it amateur, call it whatever you want. But when the other team is giving you the game, let them. There is no way that Michael Conforto has earned the right to swing on 3-1 right there, in my opinion.
Do they not give the check sign anymore? Because it seemed like I've seen a lot of situations where the batter swing. Even Freeland the other day, he swung at that first pitch. I thought, wow, I think a rookie would be, and I was glad to see him get the bunt down today. I thought, does this guy know how to bunt?
Yeah.
This is the third time they went to bunt with him, but I'm excited about him. Hope he starts hitting again real quick.
Yeah, I enjoyed Alex Freeland's bunt and Alex Cole's bunt, and Max Muncy swung at a 3-0 pitch with the bases loaded. So I mean, it's just a different game than we grew up with in some ways, Chuck. But it is what it is.
I can see giving Muncy the rope, even though I didn't like it.
I agree.
But considering his track record, I mean, the lineup's gotten a lot better since he's come back.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and the thing, I mean, that's kind of what I was talking about is if you're going to give a green light in a 3-0 or a situation where you usually take, it has to be one of your guys that has earned it. Max Muncy's earned it. He's been clutch, man.
He might need to start giving Shohei that take sign.
Yeah. Well, whenever you have a guy that is swinging at bad pitches and is pulling off the ball like Shohei Ohtani does, that's just 2 kryptonites. He pulls off the balls and he swings at especially that back foot slider. He's just a sucker for it all the time. I mean, the Cardinals did it to him 100 different times. So a lot of times when that happens, what a manager will do is he'll give him a hit and run. And the reason why they give him a hit and run because it takes all the swing decisions away from the hitter. You have to swing, and then you're supposed to hit a ground ball to the opposite field. And so by doing that, you have to let the ball get deeper, and that allows you to see the spin and allows you to not pull off the ball quite as much. So I would like to see that kind of stuff incorporated with Dave too.
Yeah, there's 2 hitters right now that are doing something that they don't really do when they get to 2 strikes. T.O.'s not taking the ball the other way like he has.
Correct. Great point.
Ball. And even Shohei, he's got so much power. He's not driving that out. He should be if he'd start driving an outside pitch the other way, they would start moving where they're pitching to him. They get him out so easily right now with that low outside pitch. The breaking ball, when he sees spin, he should just not swing. When he sees the spin down low in the middle of the plate, why are you swinging? Because you know where it's going.
Spin, period. I mean, spin. So there's 2 concepts here, Chuck. So you have a strike to ball pitch, then you have a ball to strike pitch, And then the elite pitchers have strike-to-strike pitches, meaning all their pitches start in the strike zone and they end in the strike zone.
Right.
Only the elite can do that and get away with it in the major leagues. Most of the major league pitchers have to either be a ball to strike, like it looks like a ball, you freeze the hitter, and then it breaks into the zone, they don't swing, you get a strike, or a strike to ball where it looks like it's going to be a strike and it dives out of the zone. So the concept that Shohei Ohtani struggles with is that strike to ball concept, and it's always on spin, like you said. So I think it would be a great plan to, hey, Shohei, if you see that red dot, which means you got spin, or if you see the back of the hand, which means that he's flipping a curveball, if you see the side of the hand, back of the hand, side of the hand, or any red dot, you are not swinging because it's going to be spin, it's going to be in the dirt, and probably at your back foot.
Yeah, and it's so hard to criticize him because of his numbers. But,
no doubt.
But there's a lot of things in his game that could get a lot better if he. And he's a nice guy. He's probably would be open to it, but I don't know. It's kind of like the thing is, who can talk to the king? Who can talk to the emperor? I mean, who will he listen to? Because sometimes, he's got his people around him, but he's so good. I mean, it's like I said, it's hard to criticize him, but in the clutch, when I'm watching a game and the announcers time and time again, if we could just get past the 8 or 9 spot and get Shohei up, and I'm thinking no, because he's not delivering in that spot. That 8-9 hitter has been delivering, when he hasn't been delivering, and then Mookie's been so hot and cold. If you get past him, even then Mookie's just right now he's a mixed bag. I mean, he's getting better, but he's a mixed bag right now.
You know who delivers in this lineup? Freddie Freeman. When everything's going right, Freddie Freeman, Max. Teo, because like you said, he's hitting the ball up the middle, using a big part of the field, opposite field gap, and then Will Smith. Those are really the guys that consistently, to me, come through whenever 2 outs, 1-2 count, runners at second and third, you really need to score. Those are the guys to me that come through the most. Yeah,
Will's missed a few times in the clutch lately, and Paul's comes through sometimes in the clutch too. So, but not always. But I like what you said, last year about himself, about his approach. I've been watching that because you talked about Pahaz's approach, and it kind of changed my whole attitude about him. And I started watching his hitting approach, and I thought, yeah, he's smart about, he's like everybody up there. I mean, you get fooled, but I see what you're saying about his approach. It was last year you were talking about, that he does have a good approach. I think that's why he's successful,
Yeah. Hey, Chuck, do you have anything else that you want to add here? This has been absolutely awesome. I hope every time we go on and you're available, you come back and you talk to us on the show.
Yeah, we're babysitting sometimes. We got a great granddaughter, and then my wife's next to me, and I go, I'm going to go out in the other room, and I'm going to see if I can get on with Casey. So anyway, it was great. Hey, you do such great. You're my number one, go-to program on YouTube, and I just, I watch some of the others once in a while, but I try to catch you all the time, every chance. And I try to, make comments and stuff, because I know it helps the channel. So.
Yeah, Chuck, you're a rock star. Thank you so much, my man.
Okay, take care.
Okay, man. Hey, Bruce, thank you again, Chuck. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother. Bye-bye. Okay, we've got Bruce waiting. Hey, Bruce, go on. Let me actually let you in. Bruce, if you are in the chat right now. Okay, Chuck is logging off at the moment. So Bruce, okay, so the line is open now. Bruce, so come back in. I know you were waiting to get back in. So come back in, log back in, and we will get you on right now. So CNAV, thank you so much for joining. Trying needs to be the first one out of the pen right now, not late in games. Great point. I think eventually CNAV, he is the guy late in games, but until he gets just kind of back off of his injury and gets back into the groove, I think that is a great point. Jeff Roll, always a rock star. Jeff Roll. Robert's got 2 matchup crazy. I could not agree with that more. Definitely 2 matchup crazy. That drives me insane. I'll say this, there's a lot of times to where I don't understand what's going on. I don't like the analytics, and I end up being wrong, but I totally agree with you, Jeff. Too many analytics, and we have another guest logging in on the show. Bruce Davis, our everyday show caller inner, if you will. This is awesome, Bruce. Thank you so much for joining.
Hey, thanks, Casey. Yeah, man, I don't even really know what to say, man. Like the Jays were really like trying to give us the game, and I really wish, I don't know, with that Conforter thing coming up, I wasn't happy for him coming up. Shohei Ohtani, he did, get it to 3-2, but then he ended up swinging at that,
he swung at ball 4 and ball 5.
Ball 4.
He fouled off ball 4.
Yeah. I seen somebody mention on DMAC's show. I was listening and I was reading some of the comments, and somebody said they don't have a problem with Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers going after up to the plate and going for home runs. Okay, it's fine if it's in the beginning, early stages of the game. That's fine, first couple times. But when it comes to the ninth and you've got bases loaded, we've got to do everything. I don't even, as much of a power hitter he is, why can't he just either try to get a ball four, try to bunt? I don't know. I'm not a coach. I was an umpire for a little while, so
Oh yeah,
but
cool.
Yeah, I umpired kids up through high school. Me and my dad did. But even kids, watching kids, I even had teams that came from far away from the state, man, that literally they had money, and so they gave them the full uniform, and literally had these kids would literally just do, their coaches would teach them to bunt and to do small ball to try to get kids to, teaching them to, when they're on third to, third to try to get home as quick as you can, second to get to third, yeah, I mean, but these guys are professionals. You're the coach, man. Like, what do we do?
I've given my coaching points tonight. The whoever's in the brass, the front office, the players, if they see this, which they won't, I'm not arrogant enough to think they will, prove me wrong. Where am I wrong? That kind of deal. If you don't like what I'm saying, where am I wrong? That would be my point, right?
I'm sick of the analytics, man.
Yeah.
I think
they wear on you after. When they don't work, they stick out like a sore thumb. But I will say this, they work more than they don't. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep doing it. Well,
yeah. And I mean, again, what do I know? I mean, I'm a fan, but this far into the season, man, these guys should know better. They've got it. You're right there to tie the game. A nice hit. We win. They gave us the game literally. They were literally giving us the game, and they just kept screwing around. And this is what happens. You get
putting that on. Do you pinch hit Dalton Rushing there for Michael Conforto?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Not Justin Dean. You get that? I've heard people say, Justin. No, come on. Justin Dean's up there to be a defensive substitution, period, in a discussion. Okay, but
right.
I would have had zero issues with Dalton Rushing in that spot. I mean, if you're not going to pinch hit Dalton Rushing in that spot, why is he on? I mean, I know why he's on the team. It's because he's the backup. He's trying to keep Will Smith fresh, but that's literally one of the roles that he could be valuable for, add value to this team for, is to come in and pinch hit in that situation. I know they're both lefties, and one of them's a rookie, and one of them is a veteran that has been hitting decently lately, but I would have had zero issues. I'm not saying he should have. That would have been a tough call, but I would have had no problems if he did pinch hit Dalton Rushing there. Of course, it's easier to say when you already know the results.
We didn't have any outs at the time, if I remember correct. We didn't have any outs. What's the point? I mean, Dalton Rushing's been doing really good. Conforto, for some reason, I'm not. Listen, he's a good veteran player. All right, I'm not going to sit here and doubt his faults because he's in Dodger blue. He sucked in the first half, but when it comes down to it, if you seriously want to win these games, probably 99% of the time you're going to go, I'm going to go Conforto. Well, you know what? 99% of the time today, I would have went with Dalton Rushing.
Yeah.
And that's just my.
Yeah. It's an interesting conversation to have, no doubt about it. And that's the fun part of it, is the second guessing and talking about it later and this and that. But I will say that I think definitely it's a frustrating way to end today, but I think you have to be happy with the 2 out of 3 over the weekend.
You took 2 out of 3. That's probably more than we expected. I honestly thought we might just get one game in this thing.
Yeah.
And again, I think that we got the 2 out of 3. But I did have a question. I did want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I keep hearing like this of Trinan. Okay, Vesio had been one of our better ones. Obviously, he's had a couple bumps.
Like everybody
how
does,
much longer? Like I don't know if they should have brought this guy up sooner or what, but how much longer are you going to continue to keep screwing around with this guy? This guy should not be in the 8th or 9th inning. I don't care.
Who are you talking about?
Of Trinan. He should not be.
Yeah, not right now. I think he will eventually, but right now I think he needs a little bit of kind of a buffer to get back to that position.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think once the pitcher comes out, I would literally start bringing him in just in case. Like if he gives up a run, okay, so what? We still have.
Yeah, bring him in
innings.
like the 6th, maybe the first pin guy out of the. So if he does give up a home run or two, you still have 3-4 innings to make up for it, that kind of deal. And then let him just kind of get his legs back up underneath them. And then here in about 3 weeks, maybe then he can be the last 3 outs guy. I think that's probably the runway that would be fair.
And what do you think? What do you think about maybe signing Joe Kelly? Do you think that would be wise?
Well, I said this on the other show. I love Joe Kelly. I've interviewed him. I've sat down and talked to him. He is a straight-up dog. I trust him. If there was a bar fight, I would want him in my corner, no doubt about it, because he is a straight-up dog. If it's 3-2 count, bases loaded, bottom of the 9th, and we need to make one pitch, I want Joe Kelly on the mound. I want all that. But my problem with Joe Kelly is the biggest issues I have with the Dodgers right now is there's so many ifs, and you're adding the biggest if of all if you add Joe Kelly. So I think you're just kind of adding fuel to that fire, if you will. So I'm not for it in that perspective. I want something that's a little bit more less iffy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but
I mean, I don't. What can you say? I don't know what it would hurt, but again, you're right. I love Joe Kelly, man. When we got him, but is Kopech going to be ready soon? Is he
going to be good? Is he going to throw strikes? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If. So do you want to add another if?
Yeah, but we could say if. You've been saying if ever since the trade deadline. We could have got two of the best closers. We could have got Jax. We could have got the closer for Minnesota. We could have went out and actually got the closer for Minnesota and Hazley. Do we think both of those guys are going to work? Would it be better? Obviously, yeah, it'd be better. But is it an if?
Yeah.
Because these guys
everything's an if. Yeah. Good point.
Right. Just because they did with their team does not mean they're going to come and do it for our team.
Good point. That's why you don't give up your best prospects for a reliever, because it is so volatile. That's a great point, Bruce. Great point.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. See you next time.
You too.
All right, man. Okay, so we have a comment or a question. What do you think? This is from CNAB. What do you think of Ohtani trying to steal third with Freddie up and 2 outs? Not sure what he was thinking making that last out at third base. Okay, so here are some just basic baseball rules of thumb. Okay, you don't make the first out at home plate, because if you're standing at third base with no outs, there's like a 99% chance you're going to score. Probably not that high, but it's above 90%. There's so many different ways you can score from third base with no outs. There's no reason to take a chance on a close play at home plate. Vice versa, with 2 outs, the next hitter only has about a 25% chance, if they're a good hitter in today's day and age, of actually getting a hit. And so you have better odds actually trying to force a close play at home and hoping the defense makes a mistake. You have better odds of a defense making a mistake than you do the next hitter getting a hit. So you always send them with 2 outs unless it's just so obvious that the runner's gonna get thrown out that by 35 feet, something like that. So there's 2 rules of thumb. So going to third base, you don't ever make the first and third out at third base. Okay, that's a baseball rule of thumb. Now, the rule of thumb to it is if you send a guy home with no outs, he better not have to slide. If you send a guy to third base with no outs or with 2 outs because you don't want to make the first or third out at third base, he better not have to slide. So unless Shohei Ohtani knew that he could steal third base and the play would not be close, you don't go. And here's another deal, and this is CNAV is intelligent enough to understand when you have a lefty at the plate, then the catcher has a free throwing lane to third base. At least with the right-hander, you have somebody in the catcher's way, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to make the throw. Hey, Luis M. on TikTok, Dave Dixon, please leave a comment if you're in the TikTok crowd. We have a wonderful crowd, lots and lots of likes, lots and lots of viewers. Please leave a comment. If we don't, it will get cited for inactivity, and this feed will get kicked off. We're about 46 minutes in. So, hey, Luis, Dave, whoever, a Bruin fan, Nick Palumbo, all of you, Haley, Joe, Chris, Manuel, Lupe, Y4 Chris, all of you guys, Sherfield, Clark, Ignacio Gomez, leave a comment on the TikTok side, please. Otherwise, we will get kicked off for inactivity. We have a great crowd logged in on the YouTube side. We have a great crowd on Instagram. Let me check and see. Okay, so we have a comment on Instagram here from Alexis Palma. Hey, Alexis Palma, here is on the Instagram side. If you want to join the show, click that link and come join the show and be a guest on the show. Alexis Palma, the kid, Gio Cueto, he's really good. Keep an eye on him. Yes, he is a catcher prospect. Last I saw him, he was with Rancho, although it's a very good player, no doubt about that. We also, the Dodgers have a catcher named Gio Cueto, very good, no doubt. So there is, I'm going to put the link to the show in TikTok one more time again, and I'm going to also put it on my YouTube chat here. So if you're going to go there and you're Shohei Ohtani to third base, especially with a Hall of Famer, with a lefty free-throwing lane, you don't make the third out of third base. If you think the play is going to be close at all, you don't go. So just from that baseball rules perspective, that is a dumb play, even if it is Shohei Ohtani. Hey, CNAV says the starting rotation is looking awesome lately. No doubt. I like the DR is allowing Dave Robertson to go 7 innings. That's one of the complaints about today that I think is legit, is that there's a little bit more gas in that can for Tyler Glass now. Jeff Roll didn't like the matchup for Shohei once the lefty came in, was afraid he would chase and strike out. Yep, it's the spin and it's the chase on the spin. But there's no manager in the history of baseball is going to pinch hit for Shohei Ohtani under any circumstances. So it just comes down to a game plan situation and trying to get him locked in on how the pitcher is going to try to attack him and how he needs to attack the pitcher. So the Conforto experiment says Stephanie Curry needs to end. Play Alex Call. I don't have any problem with that if the Dodgers do that. Hey, CNAB, that's definitely a game that got away. No doubt about that. That was very frustrating. Stephanie Curry also says that Alex Call, backing up her point on Alex Call, walking was a better at-bat than Conforto, and Call almost did a home run yesterday. All great points. Nick S., thank you so much for joining. Shohei had looked so good recently, felt like a lock for a hit and a productive out, especially against a rookie. See, it's just and then you spin it and then you get him to chase. It's just a tough situation. You even though Shohei Ohtani has not necessarily been great with runners, I don't know the exact stats, so I don't want to misquote here, but still, it's Shohei Ohtani. You got to trust him in that situation, and it just didn't happen. So, B.L. Boyd, why is Conforto still on the team? Yeah, a lot of Conforto hate, and I understand the frustration. You got a player that, and Alex Call, that has looked good. You got Justin Dean that can be your defensive replacement, so it's all right there for you. Jeff Roll, and you didn't get anybody to replace him at the trade deadline. I think that's where probably the most frustration is coming from. Jeff Roll, I don't think many, if any, left fielders would have caught that ball. It was hit pretty hard. Harold Smith, if you strive to be mediocre, what is the point? A 500 homestand, how in the hell do you leave 16 left on base? Well, you don't hit. You don't get the big hit. You go 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position or whatever it was. Swing a pitch is a foot off the plate. I don't disagree with you whatsoever there. Trinan's two-seamer at 98 with a ton of movement was electric. Too bad he hung the two. I think the one was a sweeper. It may have been a sweeper and a curveball. Don't exactly quote me on that. Great point there, though, CNAB. Chuck Huddleston, Ohtani isn't clutch. We talked about that. Hey, Roberts finally criticized Conforto today. That's interesting. Okay, again, it's the swing at 3-1. You're not in the trust tree well enough to do that. Make the pitcher throw 2 strikes. Let's go win the game. Bob Tan, time to send Ohtani down to OKC. Yeah, that would be that's not going to happen. That would be the craziest thing in the history of Major League Baseball if that happened. Jeff Roll says, I thought Roberts pulled Robo and Kasperius too early. Going to the experience part of it, he had Trinan and Vesia ready. He had his experienced dudes ready, and he sprinted to him. So I mean, it's like sometimes they say it's a sprint to 2 strikes. It's a sprint to the veterans in the back of your bullpen. Dave loves his veterans. We talk about that all the time, and I think that's the reason why that happened. BL Boyd, we should up on the rest of the league right now. We should be up on the rest of the league. We are seriously looking straight in the face of the wild card round. Still a 2-game lead. Still have all of the destiny in your own hands. Got to start playing better, but still a 2-game lead. The curse, it says CNAB, of Artie Moreno started when they changed their name to the Los Angeles Angels. Yeah, California Angels was better, I thought. But maybe that's because they were the first Major League game I ever went to. Bobby Grich and Nolan Ryan and that group way back in the early 80s. Hey, Gibson 88. Wow, what a handle. We have Vin 88 and we have Gibson 88. Great handles. Absolutely outstanding. Hey, yeah, stealing third. That we just went over that. That's a boneheaded play there, no doubt about that. The Dodgers lost as a team. Totally agree. 100% agree about that. Gibson 88, 100%. BL Boyd, better offensive players maybe as compared to a doorstop. Yeah, lots of frustration. Hey, that's okay. We lost. Not going to throw anybody under the bus, but spew your frustration. It is what it is. It was a bad loss to end a really good weekend. A good weekend for the Dodgers. BL Boyd Conforto could have let 2 pitches hit him in the 8th. Yeah, but jumped backwards to miss them. Jeff Roll says, I was fairly sure Shohei was going to go be over anxious and chase, which is what he did. HP, we believed in Conforto and didn't get the full-time replacement. This will cost the Dodgers. I don't disagree with you there. I also think they believed in the back end of their bullpen and guys coming back. I hope that doesn't cost them as well. I have been loud and boisterous about and consistent about those opinions. Keith Potter says, I agree. There's no way Conforto should have picked the bat off of his shoulders in that situation. CNAS says the Dodgers pay 110% penalty on Conforto's $17 million contract, making it over $34 million. That is absolutely unbelievable. Hey, Gibson 88, you're wrong, Casey. Multiple players, but we're agreeing on that, Gibson 88. There's nothing. If I'm pointing out something individually that a player did, that doesn't mean that I'm not saying that other people didn't have equal blame or I'm blaming it on any one particular person. I'm just covering that part of the game at that moment. Thank you so much for joining Gibson 88. If you want, hey, the link is in there. Come join the show and we can hash it out. So Bob 10, lucky it's only for 1 year for Conforto. Yep. So we have a lot of Conforto talk, frustration. Totally understood. Hey, Bruce Davis, we all lost the team. Let's start a new day tomorrow. That's what I love about Bruce. He moves on real fast. Hey, let's get to tomorrow and let's see what we can do then. That's a great way to put it because there's nothing you can do about today. BL Boyd Casey in the 8th, Conforto had a chance to let two. Yeah, and he jumped backwards. Yeah, he had a chance to let 2 different pitches hit him in the thigh if he just stands there. Yes, that is congrats. Yep, my dad did make the Hall of Fame. Chris, thank you so much. Padres are headhunting right now. Dodgers have fixed all the ship holes or they'll lose the division. That is the concern because Efren on the TikTok side, the Padres have been aggressive. AJ Preller is an aggressive GM, no doubt about that. And to be honest with you, he put the Padres in about as good of a position as they have ever been to win a World Series. So, hey, let's not waste any time now. What I want to do, we've gone over all the thoughts that I wanted to get over on the Major League side of things. So what I want to do now is I want to do my favorite part of what we always do on these shows. Let's take a trip down on the farm. And who you're seeing right here is one Mr. Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller has been moved to relief. I'm sure if you don't know that, where in the heck have you been, right? So Bobby Miller moved to relief, and how about 4 scoreless outings in a row, okay? To quote the great D-Mac, the best Dodgers YouTuber out there, Bobby Miller, bruh, what in the hell is going on? Bobby Miller is turning into a really nice relief. Okay, it's 4 outings. Let's not get too excited. It's only 4 outings, but it's a hell of a lot better than what he has been doing. And if you have not checked out either my interview with Bobby Miller that I did about a month ago before he got moved to relief or D-Mac's interview with Bobby Miller, check out both of them. They are absolutely, D-Max is fantastic. I'll let you be the judge on what you think about my interview with Bobby Miller. But D-Mac got everything out of Bobby Miller that you need to know as a Dodger fan. So how about this? 4 scoreless relief outings in a row for Bobby Miller, and he's walked just one hitter, just one, since he has been transitioned down to relief. Now, again, cool your jets a little bit. It's six total innings, okay? Last night he threw 8 pitches, 5 for strikes. He was 4-seam curve heavy. He is creating more weak contact, which is making him more efficient, which is making it to where he has a better chance at not walking people. So let's keep a close eye on Bobby Miller, because he could easily, if he keeps going here, I mean, let's say that he keeps pitching like he's pitching right now, and let's say he strings 12 scoreless outings in a row, and he's throwing 70% strikes with his fastball, and his strikes aren't getting ambushed. At that point, Bobby Miller and the bullpen continues to do what they did today. Bobby Miller 100% will get consideration for some playoff situations if he continues to do what he's doing right now, and if the bullpen continues to need help as we move on. So keep your eye on Bobby Miller, another guy that the Dodgers got at the trade deadline. So we mentioned the Dodgers did make their Major League club better. Alex Call made the Major League club better. Brock Stewart made the Major League club better. We just wanted the Dodgers to get more better. That's really, I think, most everybody's only complaint, is that they liked the moves they made. They just didn't think the Dodgers made enough moves. So the Dodgers, in a unique situation, were a buyer, but yet they improved both their Major League club and their minor league farm system by adding James Tibbs III to Tulsa's roster, adding Zach Earhart, my OSU boy, to Tulsa's roster, to adding Adam Serwanowski, who served up 7 scoreless innings in his debut in the Dodgers system in his start this past week, and by adding 6'10" Paul Gervais. Name me another team in Major League Baseball that was a buyer that made both their Major League and minor league systems better at the same time. Very difficult to do. The Dodgers did it. This is Paul Gervais, and as Tomatley said last outing, although he is 6'10", the extension obviously is not off the charts, but still it is a long and tall drink of water. It goes up a ways, and it comes out of the sky as a hitter. And he's hard to hit. It's just you got to curtail the walks. It's like all of these big power arms. But how about last night? 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, and no walks for Paul Gervais. I believe this was his 3rd outing with the Dodgers, and I do not believe that he has given up a run yet. So I wanted to show you Paul Gervais, young man the Dodgers brought over at the trade deadline, pitching for AAA Oklahoma City. And guess who he's catching? Guess who he's throwing to? Ben Rortvedt, who the Dodgers brought over from the Tampa Bay Rays at the trade deadline as well. So there's a battery right there that the Dodgers got at the trade deadline. And another guy that not going to be a threat for this year, not in any way, shape, or form. So I don't want to get you excited about any of that. But I do want to say that Jose Ramos is having a good year, man. He's fighting, he's scratching, he's clawing. He led the entire Texas League, which is the AA league that the Tulsa Drillers are in. He led the entire Texas League last year in strikeouts. So we all know that Jose Ramos might have, actually, this is not film of Jose Ramos. Let me flip this over there. There's Jose Ramos. So we know Jose Ramos is a great athlete. We know Jose Ramos has maybe the best arm in the system. Yes, that includes Andy Pages. We know Jose Ramos can hit home runs. He has a world of power. We also know Jose Ramos can strike out a lot. So what it's going to come down to with Jose Ramos, can Jose Ramos make enough consistent contact? Can he improve his bat to ball? Do that right there. Use that opposite field gap. Hit the ball to the big part of the field. Let that ball get deep, okay? When you let that ball get deep, that allows you to see spin and location, make better swing decisions. It keeps you from flying off the ball. Do that right there. Can Jose Ramos do that right there over and over and over? And see how he let that ball get deep, which will improve his bat-to-ball skills. Can he do that well enough to accent all of the ridiculous treasure trove of tools that he has? Because when you talk about the treasure trove of tools that Jose Ramos has, nobody has more just raw talent than Jose Ramos. It hasn't always translated into results on the field because, again, he has had too much swing and miss in his game. Talk about another guy, outfielder, that's a treasure trove of tools that has too much swing and miss in his game, that has not always taken those tools and turned them into results on the field. This is Chris Newell. This is the most excited I have ever been about Chris Newell. Now, is he going to make the major leagues this year? No, hell no. Is he going to make it next year? Probably not. Is he ever going to make it? I don't know, okay? But what I am saying is this is a great stretch of offensive baseball. See him hit that opposite field gap. See how it kept him on the ball, kept him flying off. See how he let the ball get deep. It allowed him to identify location, where to put the barrel to. All of that is great. That's why you have to think opposite field gap. That's what Shohei Ohtani needs to do. That's what Freddie Freeman does. Mookie Betts, all these guys. That opposite field gap is awesome. So for hitters like Newell that have a big gulp size treasure trove, okay, it's good to see those tools getting put into results. So how about this for turning the corner for Chris Newell? Okay, he's hitting .433 and this month in 30 at-bats. He has 5 multi-hit games so far in August, and he has hits in 10 games in a row. So the 10 games in a row shows you the consistency. The 5 multi-hit games goes to show you the explosiveness and just how good he has been. So lots to be excited about for Chris Newell. I want to show you he's probably playing the best offense that he has played since he has been in the system. And I'll tell you what, he's had some struggles. I'm not going to lie about that. So this streak, that watching him hit balls like that to the opposite field, it has been damn fun to watch. No doubt about that. Another guy that is fun to watch, Christian Suarez, a young man, lefty, that sweeper to the back foot of right-handers, to the back door, that sweeps away from lefties. He can throw it to the back door. He can sink it. He can cut it. He can manipulate that slider any which way he wants. He throws that 96-mile-an-hour fastball to the top of the zone. All of that is great. It's always been up to, does Christian Suarez throw enough strikes? Last night, he gave up no hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. So it's kind of like Jose Ramos. Is all going to come down to, can he curtail the bat-to-ball thing? Can he improve the bat-to-ball thing? Can curtail the swing and miss type situation? It's going to come down to Christian Suarez. Can he throw enough strikes to make that good sweeper, cutter, whatever you want to name it, 96-mile-an-hour rider? Can he throw enough strikes to make all of that effective? But how about this for Suarez? His ERA is .365. Better than that, he is not allowed a run in his last 8 outings, and he's allowed just 1 run in his last 10. So again, when Christian Suarez is in the zone, then simply put, he absolutely gets outs. And another young guy that's very similar to Christian Suarez in terms of just needing to just throw strikes to be good. And by the way, Jermaine Rosario, who we're getting ready to get to right here, is who I'm getting ready to introduce. Okay, just moved to the bullpen about a month ago, and he is electric. Again, got to stay in the zone. He's a guy that can be very versatile. Just moved in from a starter, so he can go multiple innings. He usually does. And to be honest with you, the beginning of the relief situation for Jermaine Rosario wasn't perfect, but he has been pretty darn good. He's had an outing or two here or there that I've gotten away from, but he's been pretty good in relief. So all 3 outings so far in August, he has gone scoreless, and he's gone scoreless in 10 of his last 11. So Jermaine Rosario, watch out for him, because I really do like the relief role for him. And a young guy, as we move now down to the high A Great Lakes level that I want to cover next, a young guy that was drafted, I think, back in 2022, just has not been able to reach his potential to this point because, A, he's been injured a lot, and then B, I'm going to say it simply put, and I hope he doesn't get mad if he watches this show, that the times that he has been healthy, I don't think he's thrown the way that I think he would be happy with many different times. But I think he probably was happy with his last outing. So Maddox Bruns gets an attababy. He put together a good start for Great Lakes on Saturday, 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. He got the win. Second win on the season for Maddox Bruns, and Bruns has not given up a run in his last 11.2 innings. That covers his last 3 starts. More cowbell, please, on that. But, kind of like Chris Newell, the treasure trove of tools, Maddox Bruns is a treasure trove of stuff on the mound, no doubt. It is starting to manifest in results. Now, the sample size still, even at 11.2 innings, still not big enough to get totally excited about. And, just say, hey, he's turning the corner, this and that. Here's the Maddox Bruns we always thought we were going to get. Still too small of a sample size to be on that page, but enough to start getting excited about and say, hey, I want to pay attention to that. Come back to Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network and keep track of Maddox Bruns. Here's a guy that you definitely need to keep track of, moving down to the single A Rancho level. One of the most talented prospects in all of minor league baseball, Yoendry Vargas. He hit his 4th home run since joining the Quakes, so he has 4 home runs with Rancho, 5 home runs on the year. Yoendry Vargas, young man who made it stateside last year, played at the complex earlier this year, got promoted about a month and a half ago, and he's been injured and he's had some stops and starts, so the batting average does not look great. I'm telling you, when you have stops and starts, it's very difficult. What Max Muncy's doing is amazing, how he can just come right back to gain speed. So Yoendry Vargas has had some ups and downs, and so his batting average doesn't look great. But long and rangy, 6'3", just 19 years old. Yoendry Vargas is very popular in the prospect world. So he's definitely one of those front of the Rolodex type of guys. So keep an eye on him. So, hey, we have another guy I want to talk about here. Let me get to a lefty that the Dodgers traded for Brian Hudson. The Dodgers wanted Justin Chambers. Let me get to his video here. I'm talking about Justin Chambers. The Dodgers wanted Chambers, but because the Dodgers win so much, they don't have very high draft picks. And then also because of the money that they spend. And so Justin Chambers actually got drafted by Milwaukee before the Dodgers could get to him. So guess what the Dodgers did? The Dodgers went and got a guy named Brian Hudson that was wanted by nobody, and they flipped Brian Hudson for the draft pick that they wanted in Justin Chambers. So they took an old car and Brian Hudson, they repoed him, then they got the new, younger Lamborghini, if you will. Now, Justin Chambers isn't necessarily Lamborghini, but I'm talking about how they take these guys out of free agency, then they flip them for the younger guys that they wanted to draft that they didn't. So you say, well, how did the Dodgers have such a good farm system and they don't draft very high? That's because they go get a Brian Hudson, then they flip him for the guy that they wanted to draft higher for a Justin Chambers for a Brian Hudson. It's just absolutely incredible how the Dodgers do that. Last night, Justin Chambers, 2 innings, no hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, no walks. ERA for Justin Chambers, just 2.19. He's now 2-0 on the season. WHIP is just 110, 47 strikeouts and 27.1 innings. That left turn of his sinker and then that right turn of his cutter and sweeper is just absolutely an awesome combination. He's only about 93, but because he is so tall, it is a really, really difficult pitch to hit. So the last guy I want to cover is another pitcher out of the University of Illinois, the Illini, and that is one Mr. Tabletop, Logan Tabling. Let me get to him here, and we will talk about his outing on, I believe this was Friday night. Logan Tabling, he absolutely put it to the Lake Elsinore Storm, no doubt about it. 5.2 innings, 5 2/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. Fastball, sweeper, curve, cutter, and change, so a big mix. Velo's about 94, 96. It'll top at about 97. He commands both sides of the plate. He loves throwing inside to back hitters off. Then once he gets the hitters backed off, then he'll throw that sweeper on the outer half, and it's a really good combination. And like we were talking about that ball to strike and strike to ball concept earlier, he has both of them. He'll start a pitch that looks like a ball to hitter and then break it in as a strike. He'll start a pitch to a hitter that looks like a strike and then break it away as a ball. He has both of those concepts down very well. Again, that is Logan Tabling. So, hey, that's going to do it for today's show. I hope you enjoyed our Dodger talk. I hope you enjoyed our talk about everything down on the farm. So at this point, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, Dodgers Dawgs is an elite community. It's not the biggest chat, but it is the best chat in baseball, no doubt about it. So until next time, which will be tomorrow night with Austin Brubaker. want to thank you one more time for tuning in and remind you it is a great day to be a Dodger.